Sable begins in a rather odd way. The titular protagonist, Sable, sat down face to face with the statue of a god, deep in thought. A preliminary visit. For today is the day of Sable's gliding. The gliding is a pilgrimage of sorts that people of this world undertake when they have come of age. They leave their friends and family behind and travel the world, seeing the sights, helping people, and getting into trouble in equal measure. So at the start of Sable, you're a little bit removed from the situation. These people aren't your family, after all, you've only just met them. And yet it works so well because we've all been in this situation before. We've all had to move on, take a step into the unknown, into something new. It might be a new school or job, a new place to live, saying goodbye to friends, a loved one maybe. It's a perfect encapsulation of that restless energy before the big moment. The anticipation, the peaceful moments of reflection, talking to people you've known for years with the knowledge that you're not going to see them for a while, struggling to find the right words to say, while fighting back tears, walking around the same place that you've walked up and down so many times, thinking that this is the last time you're going to be doing that. A sorrowful farewell, so much wanting to be said, but not the emotional strength to say it. Then, as quickly as any moment in life, you fly the nest and venture out into the unknown. A journey for Sable, of course, but also maybe a journey for you. If you're interested in videos like this one, then you've probably seen the one that's in front of you right now, about the shantification of Fallout. If you haven't, I'll link it below, but the short version is, in a fictional world, the setting is a part of the story. If you want to make a world, it has to be fully realized. If you've not heard of this video, then you've almost certainly heard someone ask the question, what do they eat, as a sort of litmus test. If there's farms and infrastructure, then congratulations, you've made a good fictional world. And I agree with this mostly. At the same time, it's important not to get too caught up in it and not to drag yourself down in the quest for realism. Because it's not what the world of Sable is about. The world of Sable is fantastical. It's a world of many different deserts, each with their own characteristics. It's often that you'll see the biome of a desert represented in video games, but it's very rare to see so many different kinds of deserts, fantastical or otherwise. Sable does answer the question of what do they eat, but it's not shackled by it. They eat bugs, I suppose. I mean, there's some goats here as well, maybe these are crops. There's infrastructure in this game. Look, there's a big town here and it's powered by this thing, and there's merchants roaming the land. This person harvests salt, this person harvests lightning crystals. It's wildly different from our own society, but there's enough here to keep us grounded. For more information, please watch the Japanese television show Cowboy Bebop. But yes, for the nerds among us, this game does heavily draw inspiration from French sci-fi artist Moebius, or Jean Girard if you want to hear me mispronounce a name, but it also resembles a world born from Studio Ghibli, not necessarily in look but in feel. This is important because the player is going on a journey. They've crossed their magic circle into a place where they can ignite their sense of adventure. While the world is not necessarily the story of Sable, it's still there to accommodate it. And what is the story of Sable? It's about an internal conflict. Contrary to hopefully unpopular belief, conflict isn't just about shooting people with guns or fighting or anything like that. So long as there's a clash of something, be that ideologies or whether you should eat Subway for lunch, there is a conflict. There's been a trend recently of games wanting to be quote-unquote wholesome. This is fine, of course it's fine, but I hope we're not fooling ourselves into thinking that some games shouldn't have conflict, because that's a huge misreading of the, let's be honest here, movies that these games are trying to follow. Conflict isn't just a theme in stories, it's the very essence of stories, and the very essence of Sable's conflict is a question. Who do you want to be? That's a weighty question. Are you able to answer that question right now? Who do you want to be? Not just who you want to be, but who you want to be for the rest of your life? I'm not sure that I can answer. The question hangs over the entire game, a heavy cloud of dread. Sable is not an open world game, it's a game about introspection that uses its open world as a tool in service of that introspection. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that video games are kind of rubbish, because with all of this said, how do I describe to you the moment-to-moment gameplay of Sable? If I said it was a game with collectibles scattered around the map, a map that you can expand by climbing to very tall places in the landscape, if I said it has fetch quests and fast travel, and you can climb up things and glide off them, I'd be doing the game a disservice. Even the game that you might have in your head, Breath of the Wild, it's still not a fair point of comparison. Breath of the Wild is a game about becoming more powerful, an open world where you can't necessarily go everywhere, you can't beeline it to the final area unless you know what you're doing. Everything that exists in the world serves to make Link stronger, shrines to increase your health and stamina, Korok seeds for expanding your inventory, ingredients for food and powerful potions. I do understand the comparisons, and they're obviously correct in the mechanical sense, but in a narrative sense they couldn't be more opposed. In fact, the worst part about Sable is the part where your character does get stronger. The Korok seed equivalents, the chum eggs dotted around the map. It doesn't do much to further the game's themes, and mechanically it's quite dull too. The mechanics of Sable may look similar to Breath of the Wild, but what they're being used for couldn't be more different. Breath of the Wild is about becoming more powerful. Sable is about self-discovery. The strongest parts of the game are those spent alone with your bike, travelling from one place to another, and just thinking. A big issue you find in open world games is getting the player to care about the thing. If someone comes up to you and says, "Please, madam, my automated taxis have gone missing, can you help me get them back?" No matter how interesting that premise is, I'm gonna have to say no because, well, no spoilers for Cyberpunk 2077, but there's something else I need to do that's a bit more pressing. Sable decides to solve this by throwing out the baby along with the bathwater, but then replace the baby with a new, better one. There's no reason to do anything in Sable, it's all side quests. This shifts the game quite a bit, because if you meet someone in a distant trading station that wants you to collect beetle poop for them, then it's very easy to just say no. You won't want to though, because this is what you're here for. You're here to help people. The game doesn't have a main story. When you've got nothing but time, the smaller things tend to matter a lot more. There's no stakes. You're not here to save the world. You're here to see it. The most insignificant thing, even playing hide and seek with a group of kids, it matters here. There's an extrinsic reward, sure, but the entire setup, the very nature of Sable, means that the intrinsic motivation for doing this quest means so much more. Each quest you do, each person you meet brings you closer to answering that big, heavy question. Your experiences informed by others. Everyone, with a few exceptions, having their own warmth and kindness that is only matched by Sable's own childlike, wondrous monologue. And maybe that internal monologue is the problem. Maybe that's where the dichotomy lies. You're not Sable. No matter what kind of relationship the player might have with Sable, whether that be a guiding hand or something a bit more empathetic, you're going to have your own idea of Sable in your head through the streams of monologue and the way that Sable acts as she explores the world. Ultimately, answering the question for Sable doesn't seem to be of much consequence. I don't know who Sable wants to be, and to be honest I haven't given it too much thought because Sable isn't real. I don't think this is how you're meant to think about the questions Sable asks. Like, it doesn't really care about the pragmatist point of view about whether becoming a cartographer in a world that's already been mapped out is a fiscally sound idea. No, it's not about that. Sable is about you. It's always going to be a game that lasts as long as its relationship with the player. The moment you decide what mask Sable wants to don, the moment you have resolved that internal conflict within Sable or yourself, that's kind of it. In a sense, its greatest strength is its weakness. It's a game that's so laser focused on its themes that it all kind of just falls apart once you've properly engaged and explored those themes. The moment the game moves away from this and towards the usual fare of vacuuming up icons on a map, that's the moment you should stop playing. But I think the developers knew this because you can end the game at almost any time. Once Sable has finished her gliding, it's time to return home. I think there's something a bit poetic about being able to do this. There's often conversations about how a game should end, as well as conversations about those games that we never finish, which these days I'm finding is most of them. But remember, there's no main quest in Sable. When you're done, you're done. And when you are done with Sable, what do you leave with? There's no skill involved with this game. I've not defeated a boss or anything. Even the quests that I undertake aren't all too memorable or interesting. I was surprised by how much I'd forgotten on my second playthrough. Does the planet of Midden undergo any radical changes from your exploits? Not really. I mean, it's not like you can make the NCR take over. Instead, it's about you. You're finally ready to answer the question. And that's it. Anything else that happens beyond that point is a formality. Sable simply acts as a vessel for the player, as a way for them to experience this world. When it's time to stop, the player returns home. They might not have answered the big question, but hopefully in this journey, the player has learned something about themselves. Hello there. Oh, Jesus Christ, is that how I'm going to start? Just like an old failed dying man. Hello, this is my last video. Hi there, thank you for watching this video. And yeah, I do mean that. It's very cool seeing people watch and enjoy me speaking into a microphone about video games. I didn't really have any expectations going into this whole thing, and I still don't really know what's going on or what I'm doing. But if we're all having fun, then brilliant, great. I'm sure that's fine. I didn't really understand this before, and like I know people can often be negative about negative comments, but at the same time, I really feel good about people that come along and say that they liked the thing that I made. Sort of not just on YouTube, like in the comments, but outside as well, when they've shared it on other places, when they've shared it with their friends. That's really cool. Thank you for doing that. If you do like these videos, and like not just from me, but from others in this sort of same space, then please like share them around, share them with your friends. It really does mean a lot. It probably means more than you think. And these videos, they do take quite a lot of effort, and they do take quite a while to make, as you can clearly see. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.